Hello, everyone. This is Avi Harkishin. Let's look at SPY for a moment. So I'm late with the analysis. Been looking at a few chart for a while. Very complex things happening with these charts. Been looking at a lot of data as well. I didn't want to just put out something and just draw some extensions, fib or retracement, or some demand and supply and some resistance and support lines. I just did not want to do that. If I'm analyzing charts for my members, I want to make sure I am looking at every single data, every single scenarios that could play out. I go back to the macro that I've had for SPY since I don't know the beginning of 2024 as well, and was that 2020, 2021 that I've been analyzing this chart. And so I had to go back and see what's really going on with SPY because I do see bearish momentum continuing with SPY. I also see a bottom is trying to being formed, but whether or not that bottom is just a local bottom or a macro bottom where we just continue to new highs is what I'm trying to figure out. As day trader, we could just get in and out. We could just scalp this, but I want to make sure we're trading within the the trend and not trading against the trend. So if we're trading with the trend, we could short the top and just long the bottom, and we just continue to scalp this within a certain range. So here's what I got for SPY in 2020. Right here, everybody remember, if you don't know what's going on here, this was the pandemic, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. And this is where we came down with that A, B, and C. And you can see it right here where we started a new cycle. It's the A, the B, and you had the C at the bottom here. This was a new cycle being formed. Let me just see. Can I just use something else? You can see it better. And that was a new cycle. We had the ABC. Let me just use the fib. Let me just make sure that we're doing this the right way. A, B, C. Yeah. So if you notice, I talked about this many times. Fib extension tend to come down to especially the C wave, the last wave. So wave C on a retracement tends to go between 1 and 1.618 on a retracement. And wave 3, when you're in an impulse wave, tends to go to wave 1 or 1.618. Either one. There's no telling where it could go entirely. That's why you always set your profit target at that one and you see what happens. If you start dropping below that one, you could always re-enter the trade if needed to. So we did hit that ABC, as you can see, and we began to move up into wave 1. Let me just move. Okay, we began to move back into wave 1. We're looking at the daily chart here. Now, as you're moving up into wave 1, you had your wave 2, um, where we can see wave 2 was formed. So you had a wave 1 began here. You can say this was wave 2 over here coming back, but don't know entirely. So you can say this is a, let me see. Let me use the fib first. I can figure this out. That doesn't seem to be right. That's more of a micro within the entire wave too. So maybe over here. That doesn't seem to be right either. So let's see. It's somewhere. This is probably more like it, where you have a very short pullback or a very long wave 3 that was playing out within this entire wave over here, and I don't know which one it is. Um, but let's just say, presumably, you had a wave 1 and a wave 2. So that's going to be 1, you had your 2, then you had your 3 right up here, your 4, and your 5 up here. Okay. Let's remove the fib extensions. So you didn't have as big of a pullback here, but if you look here as well, within wave 1, you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 wave. So you can see you have the different waves within the waves. Let me just change the color of this one within the waves. And you'll see that happening here again, where you have your throughout this entire cycle, you'll see your 1, 2, your 3, maybe your 4 up here or up here. It doesn't matter. It's one of them. Probably maybe here. 4 and your 5. So you can see them happening within this entire, each one of them will have it. Now, I'm just showing an example in terms of doing Elliott wave, how it's forming. Now, you had your wave 2, which did an A, B, C, D, and E. But technically speaking, if you're to look at A, B, C, D, and E, you'll have an A, your B, and if you look and you have your C at the bottom here, but if you actually look at this in fib extension, C wave would have been a 1.618, but it just formed within the C wave. You had another A, B, and C. I'm just trying to show you how the waves are forming within the waves. The C waves tend to be a longer wave that may have a 3 wave or a 5 wave move going down. But anyways, we were in wave, we finished wave 2, and we were in wave 3. This is a longer video. It's more of an educational video as well, and this video is mostly for my members as well. But anybody who wants to watch it, I'll just make it public so you can also see it, how I analyze the charts. So now you were in wave 2, and wave 3, you completed wave 2, and wave 3 would have been, let me just get rid of a lot of these here. You have a lot going on. Okay. Need that, yeah. Wave 3 would have extended to fib 1, extension 1, or 1.618. We did extend this, and I've been calling this move for a while, and I said we're gonna top out somewhere around that 615, 622 area. I was saying we're probably gonna find resistance around that extension 1. Don't know if that's gonna be the macro with a larger pullback. I'm not sure, but as you can see, we've had that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we've had a 5 wave move within wave 3, macro wave 3 so far. Now we came right at the top of extension 1, and we still have 771. So wave 3 could be anywhere between this range here. This could go anywhere between this range. It's all fair game, anywhere. So that's going to be, if you're to actually use the ruler, you can't That's another 25% it could move anywhere between. It could go up to here and drop, or it could drop right here. It doesn't have to necessarily go up there, but tends to go up there. But now let's look at this. You've had a 5-wave move up here. And as you can see, I'm going to show you this really fast. Within wave 5, you've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and you've had your 5. Let me show you like this. You've had your 5-wave move within wave 5. So it makes sense to have a pullback within wave 5. Now the question is, if this here is an entire wave 5 pullback, how far would this go? If it's not going to go up to the extension 618 at the moment. And that is what we have to look at. So there's a lot of work that's going to go into probably trying to figure this out. I have a lot going on up here. Let me see if I could minimize these, remove a lot of these. It's too much, too many. Okay. So once the 5-wave move is completed, you tend to have a retracement of about anywhere between 0.5 to 0.786. So if this is to actually do what it's supposed to do, you're literally looking at a pullback around anywhere between the 0.5 480 to 449. That's going a bit extreme, but I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but I'm saying it's a possible scenario that could play out on SPY. Now this could just be a blip, and what you'll have happen is that you can continue after this. It doesn't necessarily have to do that. Let's go down to the hour, maybe the hourly, and see. Let me just remove this, but I'm just showing you what could play out here, and then you'll have like a 1, an A, a B, or A will continue down more towards that 550 range. You'll see us come down to the 550 range, and you'll probably have something like this playing out. If this is to pull back more, you'll have something like this playing out, come back up here, and then you'll have that drop. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. So I want you to be prepared for this. I don't know if it's going to happen, so I'm just going to but I just want to put it out there. That's a possibility as well. But let me see what that extension is going to be like if it does happen. Yeah, right at a 618. Okay, so I'm not calling for that yet. Not calling for it, guys. So don't go short the entire S&P 500. Now, we're pretty oversold at the moment. Quite oversold. On the weekly, you've had a three weeks of selling with increased volume, which is perfectly fine with the pullback. If you look at the pullback, this is a valid pullback because as price is decreasing, you should be seeing increased volume. You should be seeing increased volume as price is pulling back. And if you look carefully, you tend to have 1, 2, 3, 4, anywhere between 2 to 4. Sometimes you have 1, 2, 3. You have a lot of pullback going on here because that's a wave 2. You tend to see more pullback or more green weeks within a wave 2. So you have 3 weeks so far. We could have another week, if anything, of red days. We'll see how that goes, but I don't know. But let's go to the hourly time frame. What we have going on the hourly time frame. Okay, I'm gonna delete this. Don't need this. Let me just pause this for a moment. All right. So here's the 4 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour first. Clear downtrend, megaphone pattern opening. The bottom is opening more than the top. That's a megaphone pattern. It needs to break out if you want to see more upside. Every time we get sold off, if you look as the price was dropping, the one thing you'll notice is that volume was increasing as the price was dropping. So this is a valid sell off. Want to pay attention to that. But if you pay attention to here, look at the green bars. There are so the buyers are trying to find a bottom here. They're trying to step in. They're trying to stop the bleeding over here. But you got to look at what the candle is doing as well. Every time buyers trying to step in, the sellers just push the price down back. Over here on the last 4 hour, as Friday, this is the most valid, um, or the most bullish one you could see, which is the 4 hour as of Friday, where buyers kind of like trying to do something over here. Let's look at the 30 minutes. So I have a couple of different resistance here that you want to see, and going over the session that I did recently on Saturday, the strategy session. I went over some stuff with VIX as well, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. As I said, this here is going to be quite a long video. There's just so much going on with SPY. Um, One thing you'll notice here on the 30 minutes, we have a clear downtrend. Let me remove this one and let me change it a little bit. So this here, even if you break out of this, you still have these resistance to take care of. So you still see we are still within a, if you want to take it from here or not, or you want to do it from here, doesn't matter. We are still trading within a downtrend. Now, let me put up some of the resistance and areas that I'm looking at. Okay, this chart is a complete mess, but my charts are very messy whenever I am charting because I want to see what's really going on because there's just so much going on. Now, we were in a symmetrical triangle over here. We broke down of the symmetrical triangle and we continue to get rejected, which is the white line over here. So that's what's going on there. Two possible scenario going into Monday or this week. I talked about this in my strategy session and I said, if you look at the close and the 30 minutes over here, big volume pump last 30 minutes, indecision right into a resistance area. Right here at the bottom of the symmetrical triangle, we keep getting rejected, right over here in the last 30 minutes. And I came down to, I think, the 5 minutes and the 15 minutes, I think I came down to. But let's look at the 5 minutes, guys. Volume price analysis. I want you to pay attention to this. Look at the last 5 minutes of that trading day into a resistance or a supply zone right over here into the last 5 minutes. That's a lot of selling. Look at that. We got completely rejected right at the top here with huge volume sellers pushing this price down. Whenever you see that at the top of a supply zone or resistance zone, that is a legit selling. That's one. It is a stronger thesis that the price is going to drop because it's within a resistance zone already. Now, going into Monday, what I think is going to happen, let's go back to the 30 minutes chart, or maybe the 15. Okay, let me clear this up because we're getting rejected here. Let me try to clear this up. We got a lot. I just have a lot going on, and don't want you guys looking at all of these. It's gonna really confuse you. Leave that. No, I need that. Remove that. Okay. Maybe this will be better. All right. So going into Monday, there are two possible scenarios. We are in this falling wedge pattern with SPY. Now, we did an ABC over here. There's a couple of scenarios that could happen, especially two of them that I see so far. Now, as we're in this resistance zone, supply zone, everybody needs to be careful of it. This is not a place you want to go long. Now, here's one scenario going into Monday. I think you're going to see earlier, first part of the day, SPY is going to sell off and come back down within this range here, this 570 range. And there's a couple of reasons why I think it will. Let's start with the first reason. Here you have a previous resistance over here because we broke below it. We came back above. You still hit that resistance, and I think you're gonna sell past this 572, and I think you're gonna come back down within at least that 570. The first reason why is this. I'm looking at VIX. I've been tracking VIX, and if you look at VIX, I'm gonna go into VIX is in a broadening. It's like a megaphone pattern. Once it breaks below here, you're gonna see SPY start moving up. So you're looking at, but once VIX is within this pattern and it moves up, SPY is not gonna move up because they have inverse correlation. We're gonna go to the 15 minutes. VIX kind of hit within this range here, a wave 5, but we hit a wave 3, 4. But I thought wave 5 would have been somewhere, and I posted that in the Discord. Let me see if I could find it. Give me a second. That's my hope in Jesus. I always take Jesus wherever I go, guys. Where did I post this? I posted in here, maybe. Okay, yeah. So this is where I posted, and I think that I just tell everybody, wait a little bit. Don't go long on SPY yet. Hold on, we need confirmation. Because I think SPY is going to go somewhere between 27 to 31. And so I don't think the sell-off is completely over. So we have to wait a little bit. Then I made some adjustment to SPY, to VIX. And I said, okay, this looks like a wave 5 within this range down here. We're having this pattern forming. And we hit the top of wave 5. So I said, I think you're going to see a pullback at the bottom, at least over here. And then what happened is that if you go into VIX, we completely pull back, and we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave pullback. And after a 5 wave pullback, you tend to see a little bit more, a little upside at least. So going into Monday, you may see something like this, at least on VIX. This is a level I'm looking at for VIX. You can do A, B, and C. Move up for VIX, which is from this level to this level. That's about a 5% move. Let's just say 5% move in VIX. Or up here, you could get rejected at this level here if you break down. So earlier part of the day or overnight or something, I talk about this in my strategy session. I said to everybody Monday, you're going to see a pullback on the market because VIX is going to have to go back up within this range at least. And if it gets rejected off of this range and it starts moving back down, then you're going to see the overall market start moving back up. So we have to see what VIX is going to do. If it doesn't do that, because it's within this broader megaphone pattern, what you're looking at here is even worse. If VIX does not stop here and it does not get rejected, you're looking at something worse for the overall market, because this would end up being a wave 1, 2, and then you'll continue at wave 3, 4, and 5. And wave 5 will be the longest wave within this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what that will look like is something like this. This here overall, it's a wave 1, wave 2, and you'll see wave 3 up here, probably that $28 level. So it'll be something like this. This is just a possibility. 1, 2, maybe a 3, 4, and a 5, where you're actually going to top off somewhere within this $31 range up here. Uh, then you're going to have that big pullback. If that's the case, SPY is going to keep dropping, QQQ and the indexes. Now, this here is the more bear case scenario, and it's a possibility that I want everybody to pay attention to, because then you could have that broader, that continued upside on VIX. The market is more complex, so it's not as simple as let's draw some lines and it'll do that. That's not the case. So I'm using several different methods of doing this, forecasting this, and then you'll see as this is moving up, you'll see us. And that's when, if this is to happen, this will be your Q at top here. That's when I would actually say the bottom for SPY might be in, because then you'll have to, at least the local bottom, you'll have to break all the way back down here, and that's when you may, because that's a complete wave 5. You've completed an entire structure of wave 5, and it will have to break down back to come back down, and that's when SPY is going to start pushing back up. So I have to be prepared for all these scenarios, because we're still within the large, and as long we're within this range, we have not broken it, we can still move up to that wave 5. So going into Monday, I think you're going to see something, at least this earlier part of the day. You're going to see a retest of 570. Now, bull case scenario is if VIX is to do something, let's look at the 5 minutes. If VIX is to do something like this and gets rejected, if VIX is to do that and get rejected, let's say that's what it does, and it gets rejected here because the bottom is in. That's what it do, and it'll come back all the way at the bottom towards over here. Now, you're getting a massive pump on the entire market. Well, as I said, this entire wave 5 could continue. This is just a wave 2 you're looking at, and it will just pump more. That's a possibility. Now on SPY, if we get this entire scenario playing out, what it'll look like, this is earlier part of the day, and this will be later on in the afternoon going forward for the rest of the week. If that's to play out, this is what you'll get happen with SPY. Let me see, where is it? Here it is. You'll see this pattern, which is an inverse head and shoulder pattern, play out on SPY, and then you'll start pushing back up to at least this 585 range over here. That's what you'll get. So the level you're looking at going into Monday or the rest of the week is this level right here, that 570 over here, 570 area. Now, if you break below that 570 area, you're looking to come back down to that 565 or at the bottom here. Now, you could do that and come back down right at the bottom here. So this will play out. You'll come here, maybe go back, retest over here at the top here, which is right across here as you see. Now, this is going to be a resistance 1, which is around this 572 area-ish. Shoot. Right here, which is that 573. So you can see something like this, an A, and you get fooled thinking you're doing this. That's where you got to pay attention to this level over here. And that's when they really push you down with the price, creating a new at 562. That's the scenario. So I need you guys to pay attention. This is a very long video. It's a 30 minutes video on SPY. Now, if this is going to play out on SPY, I don't think I'm going to do QQQ tonight. We just went through a lot because QQQ is going to pull back as well. You're going to see the same thing happening. You're seeing the same inverse head and shoulder pattern playing out on it. And there's certain levels you have to look for to hold on QQQ. It will be that the 486 kind of level. I'm going to post the charts up in the Discord, but I'm not going to do a video. It's just too much. It's late already. Now for IWM, still within that box, that range, you're trading up here. If all of these start breaking, guys, this is going to get very, very messy if it begins to break down. Now, whether or not it breaks down, I don't know, but the market is overall, the market is overall sold at the moment, but you need to get above that 212, 209 range if you want to continue to push up. You need to get above here, that kind of mid-range level. Um, so yeah, you start seeing some buyers stepping in, some volume stepping in. So you want to see them start pushing. So this is a good place to buy. If you're buying shares, maybe, but if you start dipping below, you'll probably start cutting. Within this range, not a bad range to start accumulating shares. With stop loss below 198 for QQQ. You're seeing some buyers stepping in, so the market is trying to find a bottom, but it's still within a downward trend, and I still think it could come lower and create a new low again going into this week, unless it begins to hold this level. You don't want to see this line over here, this trend line. The price lost that trend line over here. So that's it pretty much for the entire market. I'm not going to do a QQQ video. They're all gonna follow what SPY does, what the VIX does. So this is the bear case scenario. The bull case scenario, I mean, for the market. Bear case scenario, it does this, and this is actually not an ABC, and it does a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it continues to move up. We'll see. But I'm looking at both cases playing out. Don't know which one. We're just gonna look at levels. You got to see this level hold. All right, guys, that's it for SPY and pretty much the rest of the market. Not going to post too much for QQQ and IWM. We're just going to focus on IWM for now. For QQQ, it's just going to be the same thing. It's just the same thing. Price breaking down. Got to see this level hold. This 485 to this for 486, 485 to maybe this 480 level holding. You don't want to start breaking below 483 because then there's a real possibility you're going to come back down even further. Further. Okay, that's it. Take care, guys.